Hi all, welcome to my next video about AA battery testing, and today we will finally start to test batteries from famous brands. Let's start with Varta, and today let's check non-rechargeable ones. Here I have Zinc-Carbon ones, a number of alkalines and lithium ones. And when you go to the shop and want to buy, today you will want to buy Varta, for example, you will find that there are lots of various types of the same brand batteries. Of course, in this case, this one's lithium will be best from all point of view, with best capacity, lowest internal resistance, best current they can give you. They work at the cold conditions, so they are the best, but they are most expensive ones, so maybe it's not a good option for everyday usage. But okay, yes, of course, these ones will have low capacity because it's a zinc carbon. This is obvious. But what about these ones? You can see that we have some Industrial Pro, we have Energy, Longlife, we have Longlife Power, and we have Longlife MaxPower. Will there be some differences between these all types, or maybe it's actually the same one but with different wrapping, with different packaging? Let's check it out and see. Let's start with zinc carbon ones. It will be fast test, and results semi-obvious. So yeah, capacity will be low. I don't know why they still selling this, but let's see what capacity do they have.
Here is the raw data for Varta Superlife batteries. It's zinc carbon ones. As you can see, we have really low capacities here, about 600-700 milliamp hours, even at 0.1 amp. And we have internal resistance quickly grow to about just 1 ohm. It's a huge internal resistance. So we have really low capacity here, really high internal resistance. Actually, I don't know why batteries like these, I mean zinc carbon ones, is still produced. Maybe you know some use cases where these zinc carbon ones are better than alkalines, or maybe they have some strong advantages over the alkalines. If you know something like that, please let me know in the comments.
Okay, next one will be this Industrial Pro alkaline batteries. I'm not sure what exactly makes them industrial. Maybe this packing, they come only in 10 pack or with larger quantities, but you cannot find this in 4 pack. So let's take a look. What do we have here?
And for Varta Industrial Pro we got a really interesting picture. As you can see, form of voltage slope are not exactly like we have at nickel metal hydrides rechargeables, but close to it, because we have a stable part of the graphs, and at the end it quickly dropping. And internal resistance, it's not stable, it's growing, but growing slowly until the very end, when it's skyrocketing high. So it's quite good form of graphs, quite good behavior of alkalines as for me.
Okay, next will be this one, Varta Energy. It looks like simpler alkaline from Varta's alkaline variants. And we have one interesting thing here. For this Varta Energy, expiration date is 12 December of 2026. So it have shelf life about 4, maybe 5 years. If you will take for example, this one, Longlife Power, you can see shelf life for until December 2030. So it's about maybe 8-9 years. Here we have December 2051. And here we have December 2029. Maybe this one's produced some time ago, but these kinds of alkalines and also this Industrial Pro have best before 2051. All of them have long shelf life except this one, this Varta Energy. And it looks like this cardboard part is smaller than other batteries. So let's take a look at the characteristics of Varta Energy.
Here is Varta Energy, and we got surprisingly good capacity here. For cheap alkalines, it looks really good. Internal resistance not so high, so looks very good.
Now it's time to test Varta Longlife. And while Varta Energy had completely different packing, it looks like this. Here we have something like one line of the products with similar design but different colors and different pictures, different use cases. By the way, Varta Lithium also looks like that, but we will test lithium at the very end, and I'm sure they will win from energy point of view, internal resistance, from all point of view, instead of price. Okay, but right now let's test Varta Longlife. As you can see here, it's intended for radios, remote controls and wall clocks, so for low power devices. Let's take a look at the characteristics.
And here we have Varta Longlife. We have more gentle slope at the end of the graph, and a bit larger capacity at the same time, and maybe a bit higher internal resistance. So as for me, Varta Longlives are better for devices with lower power consumption than Industrial Pro.
Okay, and next ones will be Varta Longlife Power. It has a nice blue color in design, made in Germany also, but it has really interesting symbols here. So first, it's intended to use in LED flashlights, in radio control toys, and in wireless mouses. It's a bit confusing because LED flashlights normally consume only moderate amount of power, but what I should use in these ones? It's a normal incandescent bulb one, and it consumes a lot of power. So if this one's only for LEDs, what should I use here? And about wireless mouses is also really interesting moment, because normally wireless mouses consume really tiny amount of power. My one can survive for 1 year with 2 batteries, and right now I'm using this accumulator. Wait a moment, I will focus my camera. Now I'm using this one. It's really old, maybe 10 years, maybe more. Nickel cadmium battery. It's not nickel metal hydride. It has about maybe 5, maybe 6 hours, 600 milliamp hours of capacity from 1000. So it's old. It has low capacity, but it still works, and it works fine in my mouse. Just interesting how long it will survive. Wait a moment, I will focus the camera. Oh no. Okay. Okay, so let's try them and compare them with other Vartas. I think it should be a bit, in theory, it long life power, so it can have less capacity than just long life, but it can deliver more current, I think, because power is not about longevity of battery, it's about how much power it can give in the moment. So let's check them.
Here we have Varta Longlife Power raw data, and again the form of the graph not exactly the same like in rechargeables, but it looks a bit similar. Voltage holding almost horizontally for some time and quickly falls at the end, so it's a good sign, because your device will be run at higher voltages until battery is fully depleted.
While filming the video about Varta Longlives and while... oh sorry, let me focus my camera. While filming the video about Varta Longlives, I found one interesting moment. Here you can see best before date and production date. And I have a bunch of different Varta Longlives. And here you can see one interesting moment. We have different production dates. And here I have also some Varta Longlives from another bunch. And no, here we don't have it. Here, as I hope you can see, here we have a different production date, but still same expiration date. And the performance of these different Vartas with exactly the same expiration date, the performance seems to be really different. I will film another video about this, about how they perform. I will test this. I have three bunches, let's say, with different production dates and with the same expiration date. So I will test three of them and we will compare the characteristics, but for now, from what I see from raw data, with comparison between Varta Longlife and Longlife Power, it seems like just normal Longlife, but fresh one, performs better than Longlife Power, but not so fresh one. So it seems like this is very important and very interesting moment, because when you buying something from the internet, I bought all of my Varta for this test from the internet, you cannot control this, and even if you will buy this in the store, let me focus my camera again. As you can see, you have here only best before date, but you don't have production date here, so they may be not so fresh, but you will never notice it until you will open the package and check what do you have on the batteries itself. But from this point of view, in the store you cannot determine it if they fresh or not. So it looks like when you buying the cells, it's more important if cells are fresh than if they are long life power or just long life. Anyway, this is just preliminary results, it's not a conclusion yet. We will perform the tests of this three type of Varta Longlife Power, just because I have these different cells with the same expiration date but with different production date. So yeah, I will check it and you will see. But for now it looks like production date is most important characteristics of alkalines from different product lines. Okay, anyway, let's check this one. Let's check Longlife Power. Maybe they will perform even better.
And here we have data for Varta Longlife MaxPower, and actually from the real data I cannot see some major differences between Longlife Power and Longlife MaxPower. They look maybe not the same, but really similar. It's quite interesting.
And finally, here we have Varta Ultra Lithium. It's normal AA batteries, but it's obvious with lithium chemistry. It has a slightly bigger voltage, so if you will take a look at the packaging, you will never find here 1 and 5 volts, because actually it's 1 and 8 volts. And I left them for the end of the testing just because I'm not sure that my device, my battery tester, will survive such high voltage, because if I remember correctly, it may be slightly more than ESP32 can take at this attenuation settings. So anyway, we will take a look soon. Surprisingly, but these Vartas, in contrast with every other Vartas, are made in China, not Germany. So it's a bit disappointing, because it's most advanced type of batteries, and for some reason it's not German, it's Chinese. Well, okay, let's test them. It will be first time at this channel when I testing lithium AA cells, but let's take a look. What do we have?
Here is the graphs for Varta Lithium, and actually I made a mistake when I thought about 1 and 8 volts. As you can see, yes, when you just put them you have 1 and 8 volt, but when you apply some load, voltage drops for nice 1.5 volt and stays almost constant for all life cycle of the battery. And we have really interesting picture with internal resistance. Actually it's a bit higher than we have on alkalines at the very beginning, but it quickly drops, and this is surprising, because normally at the primary batteries internal resistance growing. When you use a battery, it's slowly growing, but here no, here we have it drops, and it holds almost stable for almost all life cycle of the battery, and only grows at the very end. It's really good, because even your battery is almost completely discharged, for 80% discharged, it still will be able to give you high amount of power. Only one drawback as for me, because internal resistance is almost stable, almost the same at all battery life, and voltage also, as you can see, it's also almost stable. It slowly falling only at the very end of the battery life. This means that it's maybe hard to predict how many energy remains in the battery, especially if there is no load, because yeah, here we have some small voltage drop, but it's under the constant load. If you will have a cyclic load, for example, it will be harder to estimate how many energy remains in the batteries. But generally these lithium ones looks perfect as for me, but they are really expensive. And finally we have a summary for Varta primary batteries. Here we have capacity comparison and energy comparison. As you can see, from both capacity and energy point of view, lithium batteries are the best ones. from the capacity, maybe its difference is not too high, about how many? About 400 milliamp hours. But from the energy, because lithium batteries have higher voltage, from the energy point of view, it's a significant difference. And okay, as from alkalines perspective, surprisingly, Varta Longlife are better than others from capacity and from energy at all discharge modes. Maybe it has a better, slightly high internal resistance. We will look at this soon at the next slide. But it's actually surprising for me. I expected that Longlife MaxPower will be better. Well, just because of marketing, because it's MaxPower, so probably we'll have better energy graphs. And yes, here at the 0.1 amp you can see that MaxPower has a slightly higher energy than Longlife Power, but for some reason normal Longlife have better energy and better capacity, and this is actually really surprising for me. Let's take a look at the internal resistance. And yes, Longlife Power and MaxPower has a slightly, no, it's actually slightly higher internal resistance. They have less internal resistance only at the start, but even at maybe 25% discharge they have higher internal resistance. Here, yes, if you continue discharge, Longlife Power will have a bit lower internal resistance, and at the end of discharge, yes, here Longlife Power will lead this comparison. It has lowest internal resistance, but surprisingly Longlife MaxPower has higher. So if we will summarize this, for some reason Varta Longlife has better capacity and better energy than Longlife Power and MaxPower, and this Power and MaxPower will have better characteristics at the end of battery life. So if you will use them at the camera, digital camera, and something, maybe something other powerful device, you probably will have slightly bigger battery life, but as for me, not much bigger. And actually this is quite surprising, because Longlife Power and MaxPower, they should be more premium products, but as you can see from capacity and energy point of view, they are not. Maybe they will have some advantages in the digital devices just because of this, just because of lower internal resistance, but you have a big difference only at the very end of battery life. So it's actually quite surprising. I expected to see better results for Longlife Power and MaxPower. Maybe this is because I have more fresh Varta Longlives. They produced that maybe a year ago, and I bought all of these batteries at the one time, but for some reason Varta Longlife Power and MaxPower are produced 2.5 maybe years ago. Maybe this is because prolonged storage, so I will run the tests for the same batteries but with different production dates. I will try to find these batteries. So, summarizing, lithium batteries are the best, but really pricey, and as for me, Varta Longlife is best option from alkalines. Yes, it has a slightly bigger internal resistance at the end, but it will play some role at the very end. Thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments if you have some ideas, if you have some questions. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.